driver specific call by passing the parameters to specific functions in driver and calling them directly. So now there is one more possible way to monitor everything. Now suppose if I want to monitor everything that is being done by the driver, so there is one more possible way that I can try to capture everything at VFS layer. So that way, irrespective of which driver I am running, whether I am running ext4 file system or I am running BTRFS or ZFS or NTFS or whatever file system I am running, irrespective of that, VFS layer will be seeing every activity. So that is one place where we can try to get data from. There is another option that we can try to hook into specific file system drivers directly, or maybe we can try to figure out something else. But as it turns out, we don't really have to install a particular hook because Linux kernel supports file system monitoring. Kernel has inbuilt support for file operation monitoring. The first system that came into existence was called BNotify, that came around 2000 or 2001, I guess. Then there were certain shortcomings in BNotify, so another alternative came up that was slightly better than BNotify. That was uh, iNotify. This came, I think, around 2005 or 7, I guess. This fixed many shortcomings of denotify, but even then this was pretty painful to deal with. So another alternative came up that was called FA notify. So we have basically these three different mechanisms where we will not be using denotify because it is basically obsolete at this point of time. We will be seeing how to use iNotify and FNotify to monitor file system activity. iNotify because older kernels will have this, and FNotify because it is better, but only in rather newer kernels. So if we are dealing with some distribution that is running very old kernel, then we won't have FNotify there, but we will have iNotify there, so we will be able to monitor the file system anyway. So we will be dealing with both approaches, how to deal with them, and then we will be discussing some shortcomings and how to improve them, then comparison of both techniques. Okay. Any questions so far?
No.
Now the first demo that we have here, that is for iNotify. Okay, so the code is actually very simple. The basic layout is very simple. What we do, that we install watches for every directory that we want to watch. So for example, if I want to watch 10 different directories, so I will install a watch for every directory individually, and then I will be managing events for them. And again, just like we were filtering events in X11 server by setting certain masks, saying that we are interested only in these details and not anything else. We will do the same thing here as well. For example, here I am interested in these particular events, so this will be triggered when something is created, either a directory or a file. This is for delete, this is for access, this is for modify, this is for open. So we have these flags that we have set here. So this is our custom watch class where we are managing individual watches for every directory. We have certain helper methods here for inserting, erasing, and maintaining them. Then here what we do, that first we install a signal handler just to intercept control C. to ensure that we do not screw up this monitoring and turn something into unstable state. Then what we do that we use this particular call, I notify add watch. This is the main function that will add a watch for a directory. And here this is a file descriptor that comes from I notify init. This is to notify, this is to initialize the I notify sequence. Here we initialize it, we get a file descriptor, then we will add a watch in this initialization for this path with this flags, and flags we have defined here as these are the events that we are interested in. So here we add a watch. Similarly, if I want to monitor 10 different folders, so I have to call this particular function once for every folder. Then what I will do that this return value, this is the watch value coming from iNotify. We are inserting it in our map where we are maintaining everything, because we also want to have ability to monitor multiple uh, folders at once. Now what we do that we run a loop. This is the part. So the first step is to initialize the iNotify, then add watch for every folder we want to monitor. Next is run loop to process incoming events. Basic layout remains simple and still pretty much same as keyboard and mouse. So here what we do that we take one FD at a time, and then we try to read from it, just like we were doing in our keylogger case. So once we read, then we start processing it. We read as I notify event blocks, and then we do some basic error checking, and here we are checking for individual masks. So if create mask is set and is directory mask is set, that means a directory has been created, otherwise it is a file. Similarly, if it is delete and is directory has been deleted, otherwise file has been deleted. Similarly, we can have other cases for uh, in access, in modify, and in open as well, just like this, and we will be able to monitor those as well. So this is the our basic event loop. Is this part clear to everyone? Any questions?
Sir,
Yes.
if if we have mentioned that root for
Hmm.
iNotify,
Yes.
then if it has multiple directories in it, then if any file is created in that, it will notify that also, or only in the slash root directory it will notify.
See, if we want to monitor recursively, fa notify is a better option. This
Okay,
particular mechanism is best for directory at one level only. For recursively, always prefer fa notify. There is another limitation that if these particular activities are happening too fast, for example, if I am going to create 1000 files using some sort of a script, so what will eventually happen that you will be missing events for some files. So that is another limitation. And third limitation is that it does not expose as much control as fa notify. Okay.
okay, sir.
So we will be doing that in fa notify code. So this is the basic layout. Any more questions? Okay. Now, you asked if we can monitor recursively. So, there is another possible way. Suppose we want to do that using iNotify only. For example, we are dealing with some old kernel. So, what we can do that when we get this create event and we see that it is a directory, we can install a watch for that. And when we see that this particular directory has been deleted, we can remove the watch for that. And I think I have done this part here. For example, wait, let me, oh yeah, yes, here. If it is a create event and it is a directory, here I am creating a new directory name, and then again I am adding a iNotify watch for that particular directory with same flag. And then again I am adding these details in my custom watch handler class. And when there is a delete event for a directory, again what I do that I erase the watch from my list, and then I notify remove watch from the system. So this is one way we can monitor the system recursively. When we are going to use fa notify, we won't be using such a clunky mechanism, by the way. Okay, I hope that
Sir,
answers your recursive monitoring part as well.
uh, if there are already files using iNotify, if there are already there are subdirectories, then initially I have to add all watches for that all subdirectories, correct?
Yes. You have to find all the subdirectories recursively which are already there. Then you have to install a watch for every directory.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, that is a ridiculous limitation in my book actually. But well, here we are. But the good thing is that we don't have to deal with this if we are using rather recent kernel. So that is something we can be happy about. So, are there any more questions on this code, or can we move to demo? Okay, so here we are, and if I do FS monitor, it is has installed hook in this one. Wait. So here, what I am doing that I am going into temp directory, create a file, uh, put some text and delete a file, and then come back. And here I will see that it has printed two lines saying new file created, new file deleted. Similarly, if I go to this and I do something like this, here here I will see an entry that new directory it has been created. Similarly, if I do this, here I will see that test directory has been deleted. May I watch the subdirectory also? Yes, we can, assuming you install a watch for all the subdirectories like I have done, but I have not handled for directories already existing within TMP. I am handling those only for the directories that are created after installing the watch. For example, if I create a directory again and I go here, again this directory has been created, and if I do touch test file, I will see that it has started monitoring this subdirectory as well, because we added this particular code here that if the create event is for a directory, we are installing another iNotify watch for that subdirectory as well. Similarly, if I remove this test file, I will see another event, and if I go back and I remove this directory, it will remove hook for that particular directory here. If it is a delete event for a directory, then what we are doing that we are removing the iNotify watch. So I hope that answers your question. Is iNotify AdWatch inbuilt function? Yes, sort of. It is just that you have to add certain header files, and this is the one main header file that we have to deal with. Is slash iNotify.h. This is a part of uh, headers provided by Linux, and the good thing is that we don't have to link with anything extra. This iNotify AdWatch function is baked right into GNU implementation of C library, because they also implement whole projects and all the APIs along with standard C library directly. So we get everything within that, so we don't have to link with anything extra. So in essence, we can say that it is inbuilt function, but it is not inbuilt within C. It is coming from uh, Linux specific APIs that are implemented together with C functions. Any more questions for iNotify and sort of things? Okay, now here maybe you already noticed that we do not need root privileges. So that is a plus point if we do not have root privilege on a system that we have compromised. But now we will move to another mechanism, that is FA notify. Wait. Here we are going to use FA notify. Again, the code is similar. Here again, we are setting the event mask for access, modify, close write, no close, no write. This is for when close is called after writing some data. This is for the case when close is called without writing any data. This is for open call. This is when we move into some directory, and this is if we want to see the events on files as well apart from the directories. So again, we have certain helper functions, get program name for PID, etc., etc. Here, that is the extra benefit that FA notify also tells us the process ID of the process that is triggering the event. That is a limitation with iNotify. While we can figure it out from iNotify as well, that will be a bit clunky. I will explain that part anyway, that how to do it from there. So here we get the PID. From PID we can get process name. For example, if I show you this is where all the processes are listed as virtual file system. So if I go to slash proc self cmd line, no, not let's tell you. Okay, it is a text file. So if I do it, okay, so it is taking to this one. Okay, let me take another example for some other process here. For example, I can take for, oh, Firefox is not running. Wait. Okay, let me take an example of this process. For that, I need to be root. So here, if I go back to the slash proc slash 20853, here I see bunch of files. If I read this particular file, here it shows me that the command line is this one, slash user slash bin slash cat. Then this is passed as argument that we can see here. So here we can figure out the process name. Similarly, if I want to see what is the exact process file, so I can check this particular symlink, and I can see that it is pointing to this part. So this is the binary which started this particular process. So similarly, if we go to fd directory and we see the entries here, we can see that it has opened certain file descriptors, and we can see which file descriptor is pointing to which file. For example, the file descriptor 1 is pointing to null, 11 is pointing to this particular file, 14 is pointing to here, and so and so. So this is how we are going to figure out process and files stuff from procfs. That will be coming handy here. And here, if I am doing this here, exactly that is what I am doing, that I am going to slash proc slash pid slash cmd line, and then we are reading the content, then parsing it to ensure that we read only this part from very beginning to here. We do not want to read these command line arguments that were passed to process right now. So we will script that part. Similarly, file path from fd, that is again we are doing the same thing here, and then we are trying to figure out where this particular fd is pointing to, just like we were doing here. So once we have this part ready, then it is again very simple, just like previous code. We start from initialization. So for that we do fa notify init, and we pass all the required flags here. Then what we do that again we can set up this fa notify for as many as directories as we want. But now the only catch is that if I want to monitor something like this, if I want to monitor this, and then I do not have to install two watches. I can install only one and be done with it. But if I want to monitor, say, slash tmp uh, slash home slash this directory, so uh, pretty it is pretty clear that these two are two completely different directories. One is not the subdirectory of other. So in this case, we have to monitor two different directories using two uh, fa notify watches. So in that case, we can put this here for different folders, and that is this is how we add the watch here. Instead of add watch, we have fa notify mark. We mark the particular fd for monitoring, and once we are done, we here again it is a signal handling part, because we do not want to break on signal interruption. We want to terminate everything properly and clean up, only then we want to exit. Here again there are some basic sanity checks, that there is at least one argument to monitor. There are some basic checks to ensure that we are not ending up with certain error cases. Then we set up the polling part here, and then again we run in a infinite loop, and we start reading these file descriptors. So again we start reading them in one by one, and once we are able to read them, then we just start printing them using this particular function. Here we are just ensuring that there is some data that is on those virtual files before we try to read them. If they are there, we try to read it, then we read it in this buffer. We convert it to this fa notify event metadata object, and once we have this particular object, we start printing details from in this particular metadata object. And this event process part is very simple one actually. Here we are taking one particular object, and what we are doing that we are getting the file descriptor. From there we get file path, we are getting the pid, we are From there we are able to get the program name, and then we are checking the mask to get to know which particular activity it is, whether it is open, access, modify, close write, close no write, or something else. So this is the basic idea. Similarly, when I try to terminate the process, we also have to remove the watches. So again, we do this close f notify ftv, or close all the file descriptors that we opened here in fa notify init. So depending upon how many file descriptors we have opened here, we have to close all of them one by one, and only then we can exit. Otherwise, it will be a case of resource leakage. So now here, if you paid attention, you will notice that unlike the iNotify stuff, I have not added more FA Notify monitoring for subdirectories in the directory I am monitoring. Like here, we were doing in FS monitor or CPP. Like here, wait. Like here, we were doing that if we are getting create event for directory, then we are trying to add watch, and when we are getting delete event for directory, we are trying to delete watch. We are not doing anything like that here.
मिश्रा जी,
हाँ जी।
सॉरी फॉर इंटरप्ट।
हाँ,
लोगों को आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही क्लियर से,
आवाज़ क्लियर नहीं आ रही है क्या?
बोल रहे थोड़ा जोर से बोले।
अच्छा, नहीं आज शायद ऐसा होना तो नहीं चाहिए। ओके, ठीक है। So what I was saying that unlike this older code, like we were adding watches for all the subdirectories that we were getting by monitoring create and delete event for directories. We are not doing anything like that here. We are simply monitoring the events. We are not adding and removing the watches dynamically, because fa notify can monitor subdirectories automatically. We don't have to write extra code for that. So this is one major difference. Second is that fa notify will not miss any alert. For example, if I try to create 1000 files in a very short amount of time, while there is a risk of missing event with iNotify, there is no such risk with FA Notify. So that is another benefit that we get here. Any questions so far?
Sir,
Okay, is it
is it
available for the permission related things as well? The that I have to check once, but if I remember correctly, there is one event in FA Notify to monitor metadata as well. And if we monitor metadata, then using that we can probably figure out somehow if permissions are getting changed. I will have to check whether that particular event is available or not, but as far as I remember, there is one such event to monitor metadata. Okay, any more questions so far?
sir, if we rm minus rf the entire directory and it has a lot of subdirectories and files, it will give for each and every one.
No, that I have to check once. If I remember, yes, maybe it will give one for everyone. Okay, there is very simple way. Let us figure it out. I don't exactly remember what happens in that particular case. So actually, there is one drawback. For example, if I try to do this, I get operation not permitted because I need to be root. This is a drawback. So once I am done with this, now the thing is that it generates too many events. So suppose if I do only this part, here I get, oh shit, here I get lots of entries saying received event in path open, access open, no write, and so and so. Let us do some good thing. Wait, let me go to TMP. Now why I went to bash, because in JSH if I type, it tries to match it from files in current directory, and that generates too many events here. Let me clear it. So now we are here, we list everything, we should get an event. Okay, we got open access and close with no write. So we try to create a test directory. Again, we will, we should have got, okay, here we have got open access, open, no write, no write, no write. Then again we have got some events, and if I do here, I fetch test file. Here now I am getting events for test dir. Test file, if I try to modify it, hello, this is some text, and then I try to write it in test file, it should generate some more events. Okay, and if I try to delete it, then I create it again, and then I come back, then I delete test directory itself. Now here we have gone, okay, there is too much data, on access, no write, no write. Then we have got access, open, close, no write. We are still waiting for events. Okay, let me try it again. It is not capturing all the events quickly enough. No, okay, it has captured this rm command. That rm command has opened this particular directory. Wait. Now, wait. And dir, test dir, and then test dir, and then touch by, and then cd back, and then rm rf test dir. So if I run all this, it should generate a lot of events. No write, no write, no write. We have got access, access, access. cd tmp touch test file. Am I getting anything here? Okay, here I have got event for this test file, and if I try to modify it, hello, this is some text to test file, it should again generate some events. Okay, here we can see that initially we got close with no write because there was no data written, and then again we got open, then modify, that means the content has been modified, and here we get again close write, so that means that something was changed in the file, and here you know that file contents have changed. And now I will remove this test file, and again I will get, okay, here again I am getting wait, now here again I got these many events related to this file delete. So yeah, this is how this works, and most of the events coming in this because are there because I have this color highlighting actually, so it matches from local file, so for that it keeps reading, and that's why we are getting these many events from JSH. So yeah, that is pretty much it. uh, any questions so far? So, if no one has any questions, so today's topic is pretty much complete. We have covered two different mechanisms to monitor file system, and in future we will be covering the hooking mechanism as well. The hooking in user space as well as kernel space, both we will be covering, but that is topic for future. So right now uh, we can combine all the codes that we have covered, that key logging, mouse logging, file system monitoring, and we can try to create some sort of basic RAT type of utility that can execute specific monitoring based on specific commands. Yes, please. Sanjay ji, do you have any question or comments? Please take one lecture on cryptor and packer. Yes, that is planned actually, but the thing is that before I can touch the topic of cryptor and packer, I have to cover a lot of topics, especially how linking happens, how loading happens, how dynamic linking happens, how to manually load the code, and once we are able to manually load the code and patch everything properly, only then we can start dealing with cryptors and packers. So yes, that is topic for future. I am planning to cover all these parts one by one, but that will take some time because before that I have to prepare a common base for everyone. I hope that helps. Okay. Does anyone have any more questions? And by the way, since I have covered monitoring of three different things, what I want you to do that now you should try to combine all three into one utility that can monitor key logs, that can monitor mouse, that can monitor this file system, and the utility should take specific commands. Like if I want to run the keylogger part, it should run only the keylogger part. Maybe you can take command from command line argument as of now. The same code we will modify in future to turn that into a full featured RAG that can execute shell commands and these extra fancy things as well. So take this as a take home practice assignment. Try it. It is fairly easy to do, and if you are stuck somewhere, maybe we can have a special homework discussion session where we can try to do it on the fly. As in, I will try to code it live on Zoom by merging all the code. Okay, make sense? Animesh ji.
एक मिनट बस आ गया. So, how was the session, guys? Sanjay Sharma, Cryptor and Packer. Okay. I got another one. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna take over Mr. Rajit's screen. I'll show you where you can find stuff. I don't know why people still asking this question.
By the way, Animesh, are there any questions on YouTube stream?
So far, none.
Okay.
Okay, I'm taking it from my screen. So then you can continue. Mr. You can stop sharing the screen so I can take over.
Sure.
Okay, so wait, I have to just give me 2 seconds. So that was our YouTube. Okay, so if I share my screen, and it's not what I intended to share. Let's share the screen. Okay. So if you go to the website and go to the events, so you can see these are 3 links that will be disabled for now. After a few times, you can see codes here. So just click here. You'll see the codes available here for every single sessions. And this YouTube link will take you to the playlist. So 3rd video will be available here as well. And if you have any questions, Mishra's email address is not set up yet. So it will be demigod@arishcity.live.
No, my email address is set up. It is just not mentioned on the web page as of now.
Yeah. So just I'll share it on chat so you can enjoy that one. Okay. So it's going to be demigod at arishcity.live. So you can drop email to this. It will go to Mr. G directly. Okay. So any other things that you guys want us to cover? We do have few topics on web applications, and because of the speakers, we're not able to finalize it. Once we got those things, we'll finalize this one. Any other thing? And we'll try something on machine learning as well. For machine learning, we have one person. We're talking about those things. Tell about the tomorrows. So far for tomorrow, we don't have any sessions yet. So tomorrow won't be any sessions. Friday, Saturday, we don't have anything. Yeah, we're working on to fix those problems. So you can see all those things. Yeah, malware series we can continue. Apart from that, we have one series upcoming with expert development, few on web application, red teaming, but we don't have the timing confirmed yet. So once we got those things confirmed, we'll push it. Okay, and everything will be available on our websites and our groups, so you can have a look on those places as well. So as you can see, the website is still janky. We are working on to fix the problem over there. Once everything is fixed, we can continue. So thank you guys for being with us. And you can follow us on Instagram or LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the best platform. So sure, we'll see you over there. Anything that you want to ask or anything for me? Nothing? Okay. Okay, so shall we wrap up today, Mr. Ji?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so we'll continue after that. The next session, the upcoming ones will be updated soon, most probably by tonight or tomorrow morning. So we can see what's going on. Okay, so see you guys. Thank you for being with us. And this is the wrap up for today. Okay, thank you.